Found the website playlist. I didn't know it had to reset up. Okay. You see me yet? All right, well, there's a delay. I believe I'm live. I'm getting a test from my husband on this. I'm trying to do Zoom to YouTube. If we have a problem, I'm just going to go to the setup in YouTube that's already there and waiting. Okay, hello, this is Dr. Wendy Rowley, and this is the Great Global Healing Party Fall Equinox. Welcome. And I'm just checking with him to see if I'm streaming live. And I'm going to check YouTube one more time. I see a frozen screen here. And, oh, I turned off
Found
my
the
thing.
website.
Okay, I am
Playlist.
streaming. I'm going to turn off the mic and all of this.
I didn't know it had to reset up.
Okay, everyone, sorry for that. I believe I'm on YouTube and I'm streaming live. And if this is not there, then you can watch it on the YouTube channel later. This is Dr. Wendy Rowley, and welcome. Okay, what is this Great Global Healing Party about? In the January, March, June, and August Great Global Healing Parties, where we started this year, we have been doing pre-setups of preparation. These are available, as you well know, if you're on the YouTube website, from the Wonder of Human Design YouTube website and the playlist for the Great Global Healing Party, where you will always find these parties recorded and put up afterwards. So if you miss a party, but you still want to engage in the healing and contribute your soul's forces to scrubbing the human consciousness grid, which we're working on, then you just go to the website, intend yourself, get in your sacred space, and just intend that you're joining in and having the healing, and you will. That's how amazing your soul is, for this is soul to soul healing work. So I just want people to know that. This September event is a kind of an interim energy. It's allowing the actual healing of the human consciousness grid to begin in the December solstice, 2024 Great Global Healing Party. And I'll speak about that at the end of this event. I'll give you a little heads up. The Great Global Healing Party, for those who don't know, it's a fast-track healing system to clear the human consciousness grid. This comes in based in divine intelligence saying it is time. And apparently it is time, and that is how the system works. These healings, it looks like, are going to average about 40 minutes. And we're now to the part, and I'm sorry for the ring light showing my glasses, but it doesn't have all the weird shadows, and I'll try to take it off later, but it's nothing to be done about that. There are 4 parts to this healing, which we began in the August Lionsgate portal special event that we did this year. Occasionally there will be a special event, apparently, but on average we have 4 of these healings a year. So we do the spirit body, we clear the heart field. For women, we do the divine feminine heart field because we have an additional heart field. And then we are doing what's called harmonics. So what are harmonics? Harmonics are very interesting. They're the ability to shift into multidimensional levels of healing and also put in place a lock mechanism that allows that complex to never come back. And boy, are we ready for that. We can look around the earth and we just see a lot of old energy coming up and being thrown around over and over again. Okay, so when we do the healing, I do this in sound because it adds a depth, a richness. People can feel things in their energy field of their spiritual body, which overlays your physical body. They're able to sense. Some people see colors. So it adds a richness, and it's also just not sitting in silence with music in the background. The melodic sounds are our souls coming in to the fibers that are being healed in the spiritual anatomy. The engine sounds, when I start going brr, 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 is our soul forces engine, if I may say it that way, doing the healing. Sometimes there's a sound that goes puff. That's usually something being released. a charge or stuck energy. If my voice disappears, it means I have a particular block, or we all have a particular block where we don't have energy moving in, and we're working through that. And later the sound will come into that area. The final thing is you'll hear wind sounds. These are things moving through what are called the 8th and 11th filter of your spiritual anatomy. These are in the crown chakra. And they are doorways. The 8th is the doorway out to the outer torus, and the 11th is the doorway out of your little auric bubble, going out to the higher self on the greater field, where we all are as a group in a higher self soul group body. So you have an individual higher self, and your higher self is your earthly incarnations, and you have galactic history, if you want to accept that. And then your higher self, once it moves into another sort of dimensional space, it starts to become a group higher self on the human consciousness grid. And the human consciousness grid is where we create together in large family complexes, which used to exist in the past, tribes and nations. And so this healing is about us clearing old, large complexes that we created together, which is why we need to come together to heal it. That's the way it works. So there's something really wonderful about who shows up to a live, living event of this nature, of a spiritual nature, because it flavors what happens in that event. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Erwin Laszlo, and thank you for putting a shout out on about the Great Global Healing Party on your YouTube website, because apparently that has changed the dynamics of the people coming to this event. So we're going to be doing something a little different here today. Normally we sort of talk about what's going on and we tell you what's coming, but we're going to do something a little different. We're going to have a little bit of information exchange shared about harmonics and thought. And that should be fascinating. And thank you for those of you who came, who enabled that soul group flavor to want that information. That's how it works. We are creating this event by our intentions. And then we're also going to talk about the women's choir and tell you some things at the end. And so I'm just going to get right into this healing. And like I said, there'll be a pause in between. Now, in the past, when I do the soul forces engine of the brr, brr sounds of the actual healing, I've turned sideways because my head needs to go back for that, so that I'm concerned that if I go back this way, you're just looking up my nostrils. So you're gonna, and that's maybe not the most attractive viewpoint. So you will see me swivel on the couch. I just sort of slide off and go on one knee, and my head needs to go back to open up the vocal instrument for the sounds. Okay, if you are ready, let's get into our sacred space and set an intention. You are welcome to close your eyes for this, and you are welcome to leave them open, whatever you like. But should you like to close your eyes and you get up in your meditator or healer or light worker or you've never done any of this, you work in the center of your head. So if you go to the center of your head and just intend from there that we're grounded into Mother Earth, we have a grounding cord into the Mother Earth. We have an alignment cord out of the top of our head that is always connected. We can become ungrounded to the earth, but we're never disconnected from source. And so we have that energy going out to the cosmic energy beyond the earth and starry space. And in our hearts, let us engage our communal heart space that we share as one heart in that soul group higher self energy in the grid. We are one heart there. So let us intend that we are one heart in this healing. And we ask the Creator, if it be for the best and highest good of all, in alignment with divine intelligence, and I always like to add the Christ healing forces, because it's an evolutionary energy. And if that lights you up and that brings religious pictures for you, use whatever you like. It's okay. I don't mean to dictate. This is what I know today. Tomorrow might be different. So in this intention, we ask that this healing go forward, and that it continue to ring through the earth and heal, and that those who join it receive it in benevolence. We ask the ancestors of the land we're on for the permissions and blessings to go forward in healing. We ask for the ancestors of our blood to be in on this healing and to go forward with it. And we give thanks to all, and to all of you and to all of us who've showed up for this. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens today. All right, dearest beings of light, as Aliania says, this is Dr. Wendy Rowley, and that concludes this healing. I was surprised for the women's heart field healing, divine feminine, how low those energies were. It took me a moment to realize where we were with that. And I also want to mention that the sound from musicians didn't show up right away, and I need to click that on to have all these sounds heard. So for the first bit, some of that sound might disappear. I saw it wasn't there in the beginning, and I happened to just look over and thought of it, and there it was. So if you hear this and there's not a lot of sound in the beginning, it fills in. So sorry about that. Tech. Okay, so I can't remember if I'm going to say anything. Let me just take a look at where we're at. I think it's time for Aliania of Cosmic Service, the Pleiadian Mother of Sound, and let's see what she has to say tonight regarding what she has to say. So I channel her She is a Palladian mother of sound. They are the ones that brought the grids, built this system, and are here to fast track it. And they do this at the beginning, the middle, and the end of a planetary system. And there's a lot on the web about all of that now. And I couldn't have said that a decade ago. So I'm thankful to all of you on the web who have opened up a lot of doors with a lot of things that have been said. And people are coming out and saying really profound and esoteric things. And it's a comfort for someone like me, because the only reason I'm coming onto the web is for this. Okay, so let me get out of the way. Oh, good day to you, dearest beings of light. This is indeed Aliania of Cosmic Service, a Pleiadian mother of sound. Peace be with you, and peace be with you. Normally, we come right in, but we wanted this one to bring back her presence and feel after that healing, just to feel what that was like. And she has, and she's like, that's interesting, very different. Okay, so because of the group that's here this day, we're going to give some information, as she said, and that's what channeling is. It's simply an exchange of information. And what resonates for you, you can have, and what resonates not for you, you throw away. And if it's not feeling of a benevolent nature for the best and highest good of all, we'll definitely throw it away. Okay, so that's what we have to say about that. Okay, so we're going to give this talk on the nature of harmonics and thought. So this one's going to do her best to get really out of the way and not influence anything. Okay, so you are entering this idea of harmonics, and that harmonics are multidimensional, and that they allow a complex to never reoccur. And why is that? Because harmonics, which are kind of like a bridge between the outer torus and the inner torus through what's called your 5 soul cells. You have 5 soul cells in the outer torus going horizontally, and you have 5 soul cells in the central column going vertically, kind of like a cross. And so those are kind of segues between the two sets of soul chakras to be able to communicate through frequency and harmonics. And so it also uses both astral and etheric energy, or universal life and divine feminine is another way to say that. Astral is your feeling nature, and your spirit body is predominantly astral. And etheric energy is your thinking structure and, believe it or not, body structure energy. So why is it that this is coming in now, harmonics, into the greater healing paradigm? Because it's time to turn off a lot of old energy. And that's what happens at the shift change time. Let's say there really was a Lemurian epoch a long time ago. And let's say that y'all sort of evolved and eventually became more informed and eventually got cartilaginous bodies and eventually bones and are in the structure and form you're in now. But in the early phases, you were not in the same body types, if I can say it that way. And by the time you evolve, you will be in a slightly different body type, even though it's always human, because the structure of your body evolves. Now, why is that? We started to say we're turning off old things. And imagine that from Lemurian times through now, that there's a whole bubble of old energy. And it's time for that to be turned off because it's served its purpose. And part of this great global healing party today was turning off part of that because it has served its purpose. When the system for healing was developed, there was the idea of the word Christ means, let's use it as the holy anointed high energy of your soul. Let's use that definition. And there was a segue for a healing spirit body, which some people call a Christ healing spirit body, that was developed. And it was developed with polarity, left and right, good and bad, positive and negative, it's your fault, it's my fault, the devil and the angel complex. And it serves a purpose. through early evolution to help guide you to eventually find your way to here, where you realize we should not kill each other, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that, and your consciousness has evolved, and you don't need that anymore. So part of what this great global healing party did was it turned off that old paradigm. So why are harmonics being used? Because harmonics are the new paradigm. So what happened today? The old paradigm of the polarity Christ spirit healing body, if we want to say it in a techie energy way, was turned off, disconnected, and the setups for a new resonance, harmonic Christ healing spirit body were put in place. Now, why would we do that? Let's talk about the nature of thought. Thought comes through your etheric energy, your universal life energy, and it is very much tied, obviously, into consciousness. And consciousness is recorded. It's recorded in your higher self's individual Akashic records, or the Akasha. And this is a well-known fact. It's been documented throughout all of human history. There's always been the information about the Akasha. There has been. It's always been there. It's just it gets sort of put in the background for a while, and then people get that information or get all into it and they bring it forward again. But it's kept alive in the human memory that you have these records. And so the higher self, as she said, when you get to the group level on the human consciousness grid, is group consciousness. And so the etheric thinking structure and form of the body are all tied in with consciousness. So your organs have consciousness, and there's old stuck consciousness in them. And that's really what healing is about. It's getting rid of old consciousness, stuck energy. So we have this paradigm where we've turned off something old. We realize that our etheric thought is related to structure, and we're saying that it was an old structure. And now we're going to this idea of resonance and harmonics. But why? What's the difference? Polarity is easy to understand. Left, right, good, bad, angel, devil. But what are harmonics? And what is resonance? Harmonics, she explained very well. They're a multidimensional opportunity for healing that put in a lock mechanism. What is resonance? Resonance is the frequency of the divine feminine astral field around universal life. Resonance is the divine feminine astral field around the universal life, form, and structure. That's what resonance is. So the divine feminine is always the gateway to the soul. And the universal life is a changeable thing. So we have an old structure, we have an old form of a body, we have an old consciousness, and we have an old polarity. And we need to get rid of that. Because in resonance, it gives you the idea of what is right. Polarity is what is wrong. Resonance is based on what is right. So what replaces the feeling nature in the human consciousness grid is that the feelings of what are benevolent and good and the best and highest good for all are what are felt. And this is what's happening on the earth at this time through many, many groups of people, humans and angelics and higher creational beings who are all changing the system. There are many people out there doing parts and pieces of the puzzle and many groups coming together to do this. So resonance is going to be in the positive nature of your golden Akash, of the things you did, because in every lifetime we have good things and we have, maybe we could have done better for the best and highest good of all. No judgment, it's a school and we're learning. So the harmonics and the resonances are going to now switch off of that old paradigm to the one that feels good, of the golden Akash of the things we created that were in benevolence, so that we now go, wait a minute, that feels like a good thing, that feels like a good decision. And what a difference that would be. What a difference that would be. And that is necessary because it takes you through the divine feminine feeling nature to go to unity field consciousness. Because humans, in a system such as you are in, develop group consciousness through their evolution in the planetary system, if we may say it that way. And so these are the pre-setups for unity consciousness and for millions of years of evolution to go forward, because you all decided to stick with the puzzle and work it out. Meaning, let's keep going. So the nature of thought and structure is changeable. So thoughts are changeable things, and they can be changed. And feelings are too. The feelings of your astral nature are changeable, and of your heart nature are changeable. But it is the heart that directs everything. The heart is the master regulator. The feeling nature of your heart is connected to your soul and your higher self, and it is your guide. It is the guide of how you should find your right way. Don't mean to say should, like it's a given, but it's part of the evolution. Everyone evolves to become heart conscious, heart field conscious, and you all are very conscious right now about the heart field. Many people putting that out all over the web. So the ability to change a whole bunch of things and change your consciousness and change all these things has to come through the heart field. And the heart field is predominantly divine feminine energy. And the heart field is connected to the creational levels, and it's connected to the soul levels, and it's connected to the benevolent grids because they exist, and it is connected to a lot of evolutionary setups. So this is what we wish to have you understand, that the way to heal change consciousness is through healing. And the way to bring in group healing is to intend it that it be so, and to ask for it. It's that simple. And the more that join in this kind of a party or event, the deeper into the human consciousness grid you can clear. Now we're going to stop for a second and give a segue, because this one heard us say something long ago, and she has been contemplating it. She knows there's layers from the surface of the earth going in spiritually, and various other adepts and channelers have brought in some of that information. And she's been looking at that and looked at it in healing, and looked at it after the Great Global Healing Party to see, how many people and how deep does it go. And we told her that when the number of people working on a healing event for the greater good of all in a group situation reaches 5,000, that the work becomes divine. So let us explain why that is. This is a good place for that. It becomes divine because you are in your heart, you are in a group field that is large enough to be able to go from the periphery of the planet, where the noosphere or the collective consciousness of everyone is. That information was brought forward by other people. And it then can resonate from there and go all the way into the center of the earth and have an immediate effect. In this special time that you are in these kinds of events, if you can get that many people to do healing, it becomes something that changes immediately in consciousness. That is why it is divine. It is like when this one does an individual healing, and the person is ready, and the setups are ready, and the soul is ready, and the time is right, and everything's in place, and the consciousness understands what the disharmony was, which is very important, then the healing happens and it's instantaneously gone. So that's why you have to go to harmonics, get the lock mechanisms to throw out these concepts of what you're starting to heal on the human consciousness grid so they don't come back. So harmonics and frequency have many, many beautiful and wonderful things within them in your evolution
And this is why the Great Global Healing Party is here. And this is why we cleared the polarity complex of the angel devil. And many, 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 many of you on the earth at this time were incarnated at the period where that was brought in and have that. And you held that for a very long time. And now it's going to be released. And we would like to share that the final release of this complex will be happening this December at an event this one's going to called the Pineal Tones Choir, or this one's called the Reunion Choir, the Pineal Tones Reunion Choir. It'll be in Maui, Hawaii. And it is a group of people who for many years have been going around doing this kind of a work, very profound, very sacred, and very esoteric, but very beautiful. And they've been doing their little work. So check it out, the Pineal Tones website. Some of you might feel attracted to that. Okay, so that's what we wish to share. People think that thoughts are really important, and they are. But more important is the heart field feeling. And that's what you're evolving into, greater and greater resonance, group harmony, group unified field, group mind, and group creating in. Yes, you will eventually create in groups. That's the way it goes. All right, this is Aliania of Cosmic Service, a Pleiadian mother of sound. Peace be with you. You are dearly loved. Expect benevolence in all you do, and we bid you adieu. Okay, this is Dr. Wendy Rowley. I'm back. Okay, so normally I'd like to talk a little bit now about the December solstice coming up, because this is the first actual healing of the human consciousness grid. We started in January, February, March. We had the special Lion's Gate, and we just did September, the fall equinox, and we've got all these setups in place, So normally in healing, I do not give the healing theme, because one of the premises in healing is you have to have joy, you must be neutral, not in polarity, and you must be certain of your spiritual abilities. You must be confident, not in doubt or fear or anxiety. And those were taught to me in a healing school. Those are their exact words, because I've never been able to find anything better. And so you need to be uplifted. And so we don't want to think about what the complex is. We want to be uplifted, know we can do this. And so I tell the healing theme at the end. The Great Global Healing Party Fall Equinox, this one was different. It was important that you know the theme ahead. So I just put it out there. But we're going to go back to not knowing the theme until the healing is done to keep us uplifted. So the next choir is going to be really different though. So it's going to start something really interesting. It's going to start to go around the earth as nations. For this is how the national angelic spirits work. They are involved in the healing of nations, in each healing with the themes that apply to all countries. So it sounds like they're going to go to a specific country, specific information on what's being healed and why that country might have held that complex as a service for the greater good of all, or whatever it's about. And that how it also would apply to all nations. And so that is going to be very, very interesting. Years ago, based on hearing something someone else said, I mined the Akasha, or the Akash, for some information about something called the blessings of the land. And it was this concept that the Creator, in its love and benevolence, in every land, that there's a blessing there of gifts and energetics within it. And I had a lot of fun playing with that for a while. So I'm wondering if we're going to go into some of the blessings of the land of the different countries. And I think that would be really beautiful. There's a little hint up there, a little hint, that would be nice, so that we can see the benevolence of every country, so that we can see the value of every country and all peoples in those countries, and that all countries are equal. And so I thought that would be nice to see a little beauty of every country. So anyway, that's going to be really interesting. And as I like to say, this is what I know today. Tomorrow night might be different. If I'd like to see how this is going to unfold. Okay, I have done my thing. I'm sorry I can't interact with comments or comments after the fact, but the live chat, because obviously I'm kind of occupied here. But you're always welcome to put comments in or email me through the website. And thank you for coming to the party and lending your soul forces so that we could go and unite as one heart and do this magnificent healing. Aren't we amazing? Big hug to all of us. Thank you for listening. Harmonic hugs to all. This is Dr. Wendy Rowley, and I will see you at the next event, which is December solstice. Okay, bye-bye. Oh my gosh. I never recorded. All right. Well, we'll have to see. Okay, bye-bye, everyone.